Thank you, Candace, for letting me fumble through that first round of intros on a very special episode.
Episode 3, baby.
Yeah.
Good things come in threes.
The 3's the magic number.
3 is the magic number. Thank you so much for coming. This is Candace and Jess. Judge a book by its cover. I'm Candace.
And I am Jess. I hope y'all like that new music, because we found a guy to do it for us.
Saying goodbye to our original intro music, which is really hard for the both of us, but we did it quick because the longer you stay, the longer it hurts.
Mm-hmm. And then we'd have to do a whole song to say goodbye to the song. And then, because you'd have to find another song, we'd probably go with Goodbye Horses by Q Lazarus to say goodbye to Bone Symphony. And then all of a sudden, well, hold on a sec. Now we got Q Lazarus coming at us from the other side, and he's on a horse.
And then we got Wild Horses trying to drag me away from the song that explains the goodbye to this other song that existed before.
Yeah, and then, I mean, I don't think I'd want to get in any kind of battle at all with the Rolling Stones. Like, any kind. Like, no. Like, I wouldn't even want to, like, jog on the same route that, what's his name?
That Mick Jagger is jogging on?
Yeah. That Mick Jagger's jogging on. Because I'd be like, okay, no, you can just go buy me Mick Jagger. I'm just going to... Sorry, Mr. Jagger. I'm gonna sit on this bench.
Can you imagine passing Mick Jagger? Just like, oh, nope. Okay, I'm going to sit down.
Pass him, and then it would be like, holy shit, it's Mick Jagger. And then he would just like... You're like, he's not even running. He's just walking. But he's just like... He's got so much style.
Yeah, just got his, he's got the wiggly jiggly. You know, I actually spent the weekend with some in-laws of mine. I only have one group, and they're not really in-laws because, you know, I'm not married yet, but...
They're almost in-laws.
Yeah. But we were cruising around listening to the radio, and, like, quite a few times I thought I was listening to Wild Horses, and it wouldn't be. And I'm just like, these covers suck.
Yeah. So wait, was it actual covers of Wild Horses, or was it like Tame Horses?
It was Tame Horses. I feel like that's a song that a lot of songs sound like.
Oh.
And I also feel like it's a song that a lot of artists have covered. So it's sort of that thing like you're like, oh, it sounds like maybe it's, let me listen for a second. Maybe it's just different. No, it's all the way different.
I think Mick Jagger has a cold in this. Oh, nope, it's not.
No.
It's not. No. No horses are dragging me anywhere.
No, it's a whole other song. We're singing a whole other tune. All right. Well, I've got a juicy book to judge today.
Mm-hmm.
I am...
What do you got for us?
Oh, you're interested, are you?
Mm-hmm. My interest is piqued.
Okay. Well, today I am judging Not That Kind of Girl by Lena Dunham. I have done this book in my 10 and 10, which you may know about or not.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
But, see, Jess, there isn't a ton going on in this cover, but believe it or not, I'm going to be able to pull quite a bit out of this.
I believe it 100%.
So this book, first of all, you realize that it is a story of a young woman telling you what she has learned. And the learned part is in the, 66 Mark Messier and 99 the Great One banner there.
Okay.
So right away I know she's a hockey fan, and that means a lot to me, being Canadian, Central Albertan. I do not identify as a Central Albertan, but I do because I am, right?
Yeah. Well, that's where you're from. Yeah.
You're in oil country. Mm-hmm. Anyways, on the back of this book, because, on the front... Not that kind of girl. Gotcha. Black and pink. I kind of am that kind of girl. I'm probably not going to wear too much black and pink, but if I find some felt markers and black and pink are there, I'm doing some bubble letters.
Definitely. Do you remember when they had those Oreos that were like pink filling? That's kind of like black and pink cookies.
I actually don't remember that, but the black and pink cookies or candies that are the licorice with the candy filling, and your grandma has them, and they're all in one big...
There's like the mixture. There's like those licorice... There's those. There's like the one that's like layers. There's one's like a circle thing. And there's one that's covered in dots.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is kind of the feeling I have about this book. Instantly, I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's covered in dots.
Mm-hmm. And you might want to leave it at your grandma's house.
Exactly. And she may put it in a bowl and leave it out for dust to collect and then make the house cleaners eat it.
It's for guests.
Yeah, it's for the folks that come over and are running out the door. But on the back of this book, I do notice that we see Lena Dunham, the writer of this book. She's dressed. She looks really good, Jess. But she does look like a vintage couch.
Okay.
Yeah, she's really got that another thing you'll find at your grandma's house. She's kind of like giving me a look like, I'm not that kind of girl, but I don't believe her. You know what I mean? I'm like,
she's putting on a face.
I think you might be that kind of girl.
Yeah.
But I just want to say as well that I love Lena Dunham and girls and blah, blah, blah. But I do think that this book has found its way into many garbages.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think judging it is fair.
Okay.
Okay, so apparently this book is hilarious, wise, and fearlessly candid, as it says on the back. But on hardly any research at all, I found out that only 50% of Google users enjoy this book.
Okay. So it's only really got the half of the crowd.
Yeah, so only half of the crowd thinks it's hilarious, wise, and fearlessly candid.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't know what the other half thinks.
They don't really write that on the book, eh?
No, they don't say this is everyone else's opinion, which I would really appreciate. In an interview earlier today, I had with a book lending specialist.
Mm-hmm.
She let me know that she lent this book to her sister and never got it back.
Ah, did her?
So
do you think it's because her sister liked it that much?
I don't know. I don't know what side of the 50% her sister is on, and unfortunately, she wasn't there for the interview.
Well,
But something that was brought up many times in the interview was J.C. Duggard's Stolen Life. I don't know if you know about that book.
Nope.
It's a young woman telling us what she's learned, and apparently that book is much more interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, so I like that it's white, pink, and black.
Mm-hmm. It's very.
I like that it's hardcover.
It's a very minimalistic kind of book approach.
Yeah, not that kind of girl.
Mm-hmm.
And if I pry right in, which is something I very rarely do, let's just take the cover right off.
Mm-hmm.
Now this book is very blue.
Yeah. Is it a
ways,
sad book?
Well, I really don't like to hook that beautiful color blue up with sadness. I feel like you could feel very happy with certain tones of blue.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like a cloud color, and I think that my final judgment for this book is that it is up in the clouds.
Okay.
I think this book has a little bit of some weird juju around it.
Some weird juju up in the clouds. Now, who would you recommend this book for?
Boys.
Boys.
I definitely would recommend this book to any boy who doesn't want to understand what he's reading.
Okay.
I think that if you're feeling as if I just understand way too many of the women in my life and you want to be completely flatlined, pick up Not That Kind of Girl and see what kind of boy you really are.
Fair. Now, is this to all boys or just 50% of them?
Well, I'm going to send this out to all boys.
Okay.
But I have a feeling that only half of you are going to know what I'm talking about.
And those would be the good boys? Or would those be the lost boys?
Those would be the boys are back.
Okay.
The boys are back.
Which boys were those?
The ones that left town.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I think this book was... I don't think this book was released too long ago. Random House Publishing. Lena Dunham, Random House. velvety couch. I don't know. I think I liked the TV show a lot more than this book, Judgment.
Yeah. The book of Random House? Because I know Crowded House.
Ooh, me too.
Yeah. They were from, New Zealand?
I actually don't know, but they're very special, aren't they?
Yeah, I remember my parents playing it on cassette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because Fall at Your Feet. I'm trying to remember my favorites of theirs. They're actually really emotional songs for me. They make me kind of sad.
Oh.
But in that like really good Blue Rodeo kind of way.
Okay. I also don't know that way.
Well, that's okay.
Okay.
You didn't hurt too many people's feelings, I don't think.
Is it like
Jim Cuddy is crying in a corner?
Is it like sad in like a good way sad?
Yeah, it's like One Headlight by Jacob Dylan and the Wildflowers.
Yes.
It's got that kind of hanging and the same with Where Were They Going Without Ever Knowing the Way?
Mm-hmm.
Those kinds of songs where it's like they're good feelings, but there's something underlying in there.
Was that The Way by One Hit Wonder Fastball?
Exactly. I couldn't think of it. My balls were not going that fast. There they go. But that's exactly what it is.
I was actually going to say Speedball, but then I couldn't remember if it was Speedball or Fastball, so I just sort of took a guess.
Yeah, that line, an exit to eternal summer slacking. That was one of my MSN names as a child.
Oh.
I felt pretty cool for that.
MSN.
Oh, yeah, MSN. Insert MSN sound here.
Mm-hmm. Or ICQ.
I don't think was that like a Yahoo Messenger thing?
It was another like form of like a messaging kind of service. I don't know. I was a lot more like when I was like a teenager, I was a lot more like brave and brazen. And I would just like, you just had like a list of people that were like around you and you would just like send them a message. Be like, hey, what's up? Sometimes they would like message you back. And then lots of times they wouldn't, or at least was my experience.
Right.
Like, okay.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. Well, that's the world that I lived in.
At that time.
Yeah.
In the past. So it's that time of the episode again where we are thanking our sponsors. Jess, do we have any sponsors for today's episode?
Yes, we got sponsors. Boy, do we have sponsors for this episode. No, actually we don't. It's just us. It's just us again. We didn't get any. We didn't even have time to make up any sponsors. All of last week's sponsors were totally real, but
definitely real.
Definitely 100%. They paid us good payment for the things that we said, so you can buy those things. But
that's how sponsorships work.
But this week it was just us and our hard work and us doing this thing that we do.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, fuck it. Thanks to us.
Thanks us.
Maybe one day. Well, this is a new bit we're going to try out. Feeling pretty good about it, actually. This is the Apologies for Everything segment.
Ooh.
Yeah. Jess and I
like the sound of that.
Yeah. I know you do, because we've created this together, and there's a lot of reasons for this, but most of all, we wanted to have something in our podcast be called Apologies for Everything. Mm-hmm. In fact, we thought about calling the podcast Apologies for Everything.
But then we didn't.
But then we didn't.
Yeah.
And now it's just a fancy little segment at the end of some of the episodes. Not all of them. But when we feel like it's time to address some of the things we got wrong in the past episodes, we will do a little short Apologies for Everything.
Yeah, to sort of make amends, to right the wrongs of the past. And maybe even sometimes not. To also maybe just amend or extend some of the thoughts that we had, so we're sorry for not putting that in.
Yeah, amend and extend.
Yeah.
Exactly. So in today's episode, we have decided to throw one of those Apologies for Everything segments in. And first of all, I'm just going to say, in episode 1, I flat out said that the giver didn't have a backyard. and then went on about how he put everything in his backyard. He did have a backyard, you guys. We just didn't look back there.
It was,
and I missed it. I just missed it.
It was a little ways away, and yeah, we were caught up with the judgments.
It's hard. It's hard to remember the layout of everybody's, house and their backyard and their front yard, and it was a total slip, and I'm so sorry. Apologies for everything. For everything,
yes. And I too, I have a couple because I'm apologizing for them. I'm gonna first one.
That shocks me.
Yeah, well, sometimes we talk and we just get on a roll, and we really like what is being said, and whether or not it's actually true. That's another thing. So I'm going to jump back to, now this is the thing that I'm very concerned about, is that I really need to remember that this was the correct episode, because otherwise next episode I'm going to be apologizing for the apologies for everything, because I done fucked up. So
yeah. And that could happen. If you fuck up the apologies for everything episode segment, excuse me, look, I have things to be sorry for too. We can just go back to it in the next.
So we're going to jump back again to episode 1. And I was talking about the movie The Abyss. And I was talking about one of the actors in The Abyss. I believe was one of the main characters. And the actor that played him was... I'm looking at my notes here, and I was hoping that I wrote it on the first page. Didn't write it on the first page. Just
all you can see is Atomic Beach.
All I wrote was The Abyss, and so I flipped back to the previous page. I'm like, oh yeah, I must have written it there. And no, I just wrote episode 1, Guy from The Abyss. But do not fret, dear listener. The guy I was looking for or thinking of was Ed Harris. Yeah.
Ed Harris for the win. Good one, Jess.
We
take notes on this episode situation that we do.
We spend more time... actually doing research on the stuff that we screw up
than the episodes themselves.
Then on the episodes themselves. So Ed Harris. Go watch a movie with Ed Harris.
So basically, the things you said about Ed Harris, I was disappointed to find out it wasn't Danny Tanner. I remember that.
Yeah.
Big uproar. Why isn't it DT? I'm outraged.
I really feel if it was Danny Tanner, that would be... I feel like that would be kind of like... that would be an interesting situation, because Danny Tanner was a fictitious character, and then to have him... playing a character in so in this movie it's going to be Bob Saget, but Bob Saget is going to be playing the character of Danny Tanner, playing the lead scientist guy in The Abyss.
Right. So Danny Tanner, he went to acting school. It was something on the side. He was raising his girls. I'm pretty sure his wife died in a car accident.
Do they actually ever address that in Full House? I don't know. I'm not going to...
I think they do. I think she dies in a car accident.
Is that like episode 1 stuff, or...
Yeah, it's actually episode 0. But you know what? They offer a little token of information. She was eating flaming hot Cheetos when it all happened.
And then
the uncles move in. Oh. But you're right. It's Danny Tanner. He experiences some acting, and he goes into audition for The Abyss. Happens to get it. Bada bing, bada boom. Big time actor.
Yeah.
In San Diego. San Francisco? Where is he?
Francisco. Because they had the bridge in the books. And they lived on that street. Yeah. Sorry to Ed Harris.
Yeah, and Danny Tanner, because we never wanted to change your story.
Yeah.
But we did want to. Okay, and also you said he was in a fist fight with Bruce Willis.
I don't think he ever was. I'm not even sure if they ever starred in the same movie together.
I'm pretty sure they fist fought.
Yeah, well, maybe. They're just being ramp gun. Boys will be boys. So I did have one final... It's not so much an apology. I'm apologizing for me not putting it in. In our last episode, I was talking a bit about the keto diet, and I just wanted to, I did a little bit more research, and sorry, this is in episode 2 that I'm apologizing for. So talking about the keto diet, and I just really wanted to say that, like, that as much as it's kind of becoming the new diet, that the sweeping the nation kind of thing that everybody's doing and everybody's on, that, well, it was actually developed in the 1920s as a treatment for epilepsy, and I think possibly even more specific, childhood epilepsy. But I think, and it was a way this diet actually helped people who suffered from epilepsy control their seizures, and also lessen the time that they would occur. Now, I did do a little bit of, searching on Google and, jumping around the web. I don't really have any medical journals to draw from, but I also started some of my research listening to another podcast. And that was a podcast called Sawbones. They did an episode all about the ketogenic diet, and I found it very informative, very, very cool. So, I mean, if you want to learn some cool medical stuff...
Which I always do.
It's a comedy podcast, so it is, it's some funny stuff too. But I mean, yeah, go check out Sawbones. They're doing great stuff. So sorry that I didn't put that in.
Okay, so it's the end of the show. As you know, you've been listening to Candace and Jess judge a book by its cover. Please follow us on Twitter at Candace and Jess. I am Candace.
And I am Jess. And we'll cue that outro music.
Jess, cue that outro music.
Okay, well, I'll try it again. I gotta say it with more gusto, more oomph. Hold on, okay? Okay. And cue that outro music.
Step on. Cue the outro music.
Okay, I'm gonna just go. I'll go play it myself. Okay, hold on.
Okay.